This is all they have, is violence. At the core of the left, at the core of a liberal, is someone that would use the sword if they had it. They are very violent people at their core. They always have been. They can't debate. They can't have conversation. So they'll resort to these tactics. And of course, this is cliche, but it's worth doing before I play cut 146. Imagine there was a billboard in downtown D.C. Help eliminate XYZ. Yeah, I mean, they want this to be settled in the streets with Antifa. Just trying to rile people up. They want us murdered. They want us killed. That's why a lot of them celebrated Donald Trump getting shot, and they lamented that it wasn't successful. Now, this is everything for them. We're going after the core of their meaning, and we're just getting started. We'll be right back.
So badly to do this show for all of you today. And I wanted the friends of this show and of Charlie that knew him best, the Thought Crime crew, to be here in the studio to commemorate our friend, our dear brother, for this sacred, this solemn moment, this occasion none of us ever dreamed we would have to do. And here we are, because Charlie would want us to be here. He would be upset if we weren't here.
Sad week, man.
It's shocking. It's still kind of shocking.
I think it's going to be for a while, man.
Yeah, it's still hard to get your head around it. It's so out there. You know, obviously I believe it, but I mean, it's just shocking. Again, like the original Trump shooting that was unsuccessful. This one was successful.
So similar, man.
They're very similar. I mean, you got the young kid, you got rooftops. You know, let me ask you something. You know, obviously he had private security. But the layout of that school had so many levels. I was talking with Al Gonzalez, New York police, about it during the week. Mm-hmm. They had so many different levels of rooftops there. You know what I mean? It looked like in that little schoolyard, courtyard, there was like 4, 5, 6 different levels of rooftops. And when you're the security guy and you show up, now we know what happened in Butler. Those Secret Service guys were fuck ups. You know, at least they had snipers on the roof and this and that, whatever. But when you're a private security guy and you show up with this guy, you know, this vulnerable do-gooder, Charlie Kirk, and you look at those rooftops and you just go, forget it. We don't have the manpower. I mean, how do you go ahead with that event? And this is from the second it happened, that was what was in my mind because of Butler and because of everything else. How do you, now you may not have the manpower, I get it, but how do you sign off and just say, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I don't get it. I don't get it, Eric.
I think that it probably was that way over and over and over again. I mean, it's not really set up.
He's a hunted man. He's got 1 million death threats. They show up and they go, you know, we're private security. On the ground, you could guard him physically on a level platform, you know, obviously from someone coming up. But you look at those rooftops, and these are ex-cops, I imagine, XF working for him, and they just go, we don't have the manpower, nothing we could do about it. I don't get it. Somebody has to explain to me how this security firm said that was okay, or the previous time it was okay. But I don't know where he has been previously. But looking at that architecture of the multiple low level rooftops, it made Butler look difficult. You know what I'm saying? That was my first takeaway, Eric.
I understand that, and I'm not defending the security. I think it's a scenario that they weren't guarding him for a sniper or assassination. They were guarding him for people who would try to throw something on his face, like Michael Knowles, you know, with water, or they would throw crap, or or a physical confrontation. The idea of
well, that's semi-security then, right? That's semi-security. You're saying that we can only afford physically or financially to guard you half-assed. I don't know how else to spin it. I don't know what else to say. You're correct. If you are correct, it's like saying, which I was saying, we're guarding you on a level platform from oncoming level things. That's half or a third of the security for any event. How do you rectify that? How do you justify that? Not you personally. I'm saying.
No, I know.
It's just extremely frustrating.
They'll have to now, but like Stephen Crowder sitting at his table, how many times could he have been hit by, somebody? I'm just saying that there is a pattern, and I just don't think
but following
planned.
Butler, Eric, and following
Sure.
the second sniper event, which was a level, by the way, the guy's on trial right now. I don't know if anybody's following this, but he's defending himself in this trial where the Secret Service, he was accused. This is the
Routh.
This is the Routh trial, which I didn't know was going on, but it's actually, he's in court right now defending himself right now, Eric.
Is it
Yes,
preliminary or is it...
No. I was reading yesterday's court events, live events in court. He was cross-examined. Sorry to get off on this sidetrack, but we'll get back on this in a second. He was questioning the Secret Service agent who caught him, and the Secret Service agent said, "I'm traumatized that you pointed a gun, not a suspect, you, to him as an attorney or a foul attorney representing himself." I'd like to see some coverage on this thing. I don't know if it's being covered.
Unfortunately, it's federal, so
yeah.
Otherwise, maybe people would be streaming or whatever. Josso here setting the record straight about Crowder, saying that Crowder said he isn't going to do Change My Mind for a few years now.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because of security concerns.
Right,
so he was hip to it, I guess.
Yeah. But
and I know Shapiro and Yiannopoulos, going back to 2017, there were concerns, but some of the argument where the universities say, well, you know what, we just can't have you here because we can't protect you. And they would
doesn't mean you give up your life. It doesn't mean you don't have security. Some people are saying you have to rely on college security. College security, it's like a guard at Walmart. What is college security? It's like mall cop. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you don't have the manpower. You got to bring your manpower. And there's
or you're going to have to do it in auditoriums and closed venues.
That's what they'd like you to do. That's what they wanted Trump to do, is having 300 instead of 3,000. They would love to force you indoors. The point of the matter is, and where I'm going with this fucking conversation, is you got to bring your own private army now. I'm sorry, but that's a fact. These guys are loaded with money. They have the finances to do it. You have to bring a small private platoon. I'm sorry. That's where we are right now as a culture. That's why I was bringing this up. And
that or a Pope Mobile.
The Pope Mobile. Right. Well, the Pope Mobile, even that came from a stabbing by a guy who I believe was a Muslim or a Turk or something back in the day.
Yeah, it was John Paul II.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's obviously a horrible
yeah,
deal.
he liked to mix it up with people on a personal level indoors, and you can guard him, like Eric was saying, indoors. You can put up a wall of human flesh to guard the guy. But in an outdoor courtyard like that, a large, I say courtyard, was pretty expansive because it had about 3,000 people. You're just a sitting duck for anybody on a rooftop. And the kid who did it was not an expert.
Didn't need to be.
Right. He didn't need to be. Didn't need to be.
And a lot of people were trying to say, oh, this is a professional hit. And it's like, no.
Those are in the movie. Those are in the movies, bro. I'm sorry. It's not the Bourne Identity anymore. There's enough dog whistles. In other words, the JFK era is long past. What they now have figured out, and I know this sounds crazy, is that their amplified dog whistles will trigger somebody down the road to do something at their leisure without them getting the fingerprints of being a gun for hire person. Someone is going to do it through your enormous dog whistles that you are blasting over day after day after day, calling people Hitler and calling them whatever. That's the new way of doing it. The JFK thing is obsolete. You know what I mean? If they, just think about it, if they had called JFK Hitler for 2 years, they may not have needed to go into an incredible, complicated military intelligence assassination. Nowadays, this is the new way of doing it. As odd as that seems, all they have to do is these amplified dog whistles for months, and somebody will step up, Eric.
Well, it's effective because considering the population, 60% are out.
Yeah.
30% are left, 30% are right. You don't even have to worry about them. Then you're splitting in the middle. You only need that less than 1% who are maniacs. And they're just out there waiting. And there's enough of them, 340 million people in our country. There's going to be a few thousand of them available to do whatever.
and not only that, you then wash your hands of it and blame the other side for doing it. It's almost like a playbook they have. Amplified dog whistle. And I mean, dog whistle is not even the right term, because this is not even a dog whistle. It's an amplification of, getting even, Kamala Harris was calling Trump a fascist, referring to him as Hitler. I mean, you just do that over and over and over again. You keep going until you get the results that you want. Then you blame the other side for rhetoric, divisive rhetoric that does not exist, like came out of Stephen King's mouth and Matthew Dowd on MSNBC, and many of these others are having their chains yanked in their job. How about the black Secret Service agent who was removed today? Thank God they found out that. I mean, let me ask something. You're on the Secret Service. Where do you think your tweet is going to go by saying something like that on the United States Secret Service? What compels this stupid DEI schmuck to tweet that, thinking, hey, I just want to talk to people. I want people to know. I mean, I don't get.
I think you answered your own question. I'm sorry.
I know. It's just mind-boggling. It really is mind-boggling.
I mean, did we not just see a video of two female Secret Service like going at?
Private army. Need your own private army. Got to bring them in, or this is unsustainable speaking in public, which is what they'd like to shut you down by overwhelming dog whistle force. You literally have to take your money and get a BlackRock? What was the name of that firm in the old days?
Yeah, I think it's BlackRock. I always get it confused because there's BlackRock, the financial.
Right, it's not the corporation.
But you're talking about Eric, the military group.
Yeah. You could hire them, and
it might be Blackstone. No, I think it's BlackRock.
I thought it was BlackRock.
I think they're both BlackRock. It's always been confusing.
It might be just the same name, with two different things.
Yeah. There's a financial, and then
Eric.
I forgot his last name.
So some in the chat will know. Anyway, the guy comes apparently
Prince.
raised
Blackwater.
Okay.
And Prince.
The guy had a 6-bedroom house. You want to explain to me how somebody, do you know anyone in your life who had a 6-bedroom house? I know people in show business don't have a 6-bedroom house. I mean, I don't understand. It's a $600,000 Washington, Utah family, apparently strict Mormons. He was raised a strict Mormon, apparently went off the rails of Mormonism, and was not happy that Charlie Kirk was supportive of the Mormon culture, and was literally saying that after he said that, that's when the shot was fired. So I don't know if he was hearing this on a loudspeaker, and because the last things that Charlie Kirk was saying was his support of the Mormon culture and how half of his staff were Mormons. And
when the shot happened, because the guy who asked the question came out, Charlie Kirk said, do you include gangs? Because the guy who was asking the question was asking about trans violence. He had done a video before. So he was trying to lead Charlie Kirk into a corner saying, how many cases of mass shootings are there? Charlie Kirk said, are you including gangs? And that's when you shot.
Right before that, he was extolling the virtues of the Mormon community. And this kid over dinner was not happy about Charlie Kirk's defense of Mormonism. But his whole family was strict Mormons, except for him. He had left.
Dad was a deputy, for God's sake.
No, absolutely, and a huge Trump supporter. So this kid went off the rails, left the church a number of years ago, and was going to that school. Now he was in an electrical engineering vocational community college, from what I understand, trying to learn be an electrical engineer or something. Yeah, but the question is, why do these people who first of all, I'd like to know what the dad did to get that kind of a house as a 600.
First off, Mark, I actually do know people who have 6-bedroom houses.
Really?
They don't live in California. If you go
but I'm saying
I'm saying that in areas, especially like Mormons, they have huge families.
They didn't have that family. That's what that's what I was leading to. They only had 2 or 3 kids, but they have a 6-bedroom house. My question is, does every developer in Utah, because of the Mormonism, build 6-bedroom homes?
There's a lot of them. There's
Yeah,
a lot
they
of,
make
and the
the
cost
building-
of living is much, much lower. He was
Right.
kinda-
So a $600,000 home in Washington, Utah would be the equivalent of a $6 million home in LA, I think.
or 10 to 15.
Yeah.
So absolutely. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty common in areas where there's a lot
Of Mormons.
population, you know.
Yeah,
So,
well, okay. But I'm saying they didn't have a 6-person family. But, that being said, I don't know what his political agenda was, if any. I think you read into
he
what
was radicalized.
Right. But I mean, what if you read into his statements that he put on the gun and bullets,
Yep.
it's hard to translate what he's trying to say.
Oh, well,
Based on what he said, I mean,
they appear to be Antifa. The comments Andy No has spoken up on it, and there's a Latin phrase he used that apparently was used by the Italians with the original Antifa back in like World War II days.
Oh yeah, Ciao Bello, Bella Ciao, which was a song,
right?
But
and also, hey, fascist, catch. So that's two messages that are very
okay. How about if you
Antifa.
read this, you are gay, LMAO. What do you make of that?
I got 2 out of 3, dude.
Right, I know.
And
it's a mixed bag, Eric. It's a mixed bag.
I have a feel, and then arrows is a question of, is it the video game or is it the 2 arrows in the trans signal?
Well, it could be the Iron Front, the anti-Nazi group too. That vertical,
Sure.
The vertical arrow and the right arrow, and then 3 downward arrows may indicate the Iron Front, which was an anti-fascist group. You could read that into it.
And I hate to say it, because I'm not trying to excuse it, but if you read this, you are gay, could straight up be juvenile freaking humor.
Yeah, no, that's why I was going. That's why I was
yeah.
going with this. Yeah, because he writes notices, bulges, OWO. What's this? And this is apparently a typical mocking of furries. Why he is mocking the furries on these bullets, I don't know. But
some people are saying it's gaming terms.
Well, that is not a gaming term. That is a term for mocking furries.
No, I'm saying that gamers throw it around. And the Discord tie-in, has a lot of gaming. So some of it could be the language in amongst the gaming community.
Well, that phrase, notice bulges, OWO, is a anti-trans, anti-furry phrase. But it was on a gaming thing. Discord is a gaming site. But what I'm trying to say is these phrases can be interpreted many different ways.
Sure, and I'm waiting to see
what you're waiting.
Comes. No, I can only go with the information that's at hand. I can say
that's why I'm bringing it up. That's the only information we have.
To be Antifa messages, and Antifa was definitely an enemy of Charlie Kirk. The intro, which you just saw, was Charlie Kirk talking about, hey, Antifa is potentially targeting us. So there is a question. Now, Antifa is a hard one too, because Antifa, it's not like there's a sign up that says, oh, I'm going to register Antifa for, my next election. They're a anarchist style group. There's no real formulation where they line up.
Well, to add, this could have been trolling phrases too.
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to say. These could be attempts to troll, these particular areas of our culture.
It's possible. So then, and if that is the case, if there's no actual political message, it's just a troll. Now, there is an account that people have speculated could be his, where he actually had retweeted Charlie Kirk in 22.
Yeah.
So that could be a thing too. He dressed up as Trump in 2017. So he might have been very pro-Trump, pro-Charlie Kirk, and then turned. And, the opposite of, a fan can turn into a mortal enemy, or, I don't know what's in his head.
Well, according to the people at the dinner table, he had a thing for Charlie Kirk. Whatever you make of his politics, that's been pretty well established by his family. So it's too early to tell what his politics are, is what I'm gathering.
Other than a change. By all account, he changed.
Right. And clearly the Charlie Kirk thing is quite real. his anti-Charlie Kirk stuff. But other than that, that's all we really know at this time.
Yeah.
Oh, put it this way. The FBI was not successful in capturing them. That's a crock of shit.
It was handed to them.
No, but they're online. If you go online, there's FBI stuff saying, we 22 hours it all took for us to catch him. It's a crock of shit, Eric. You know that.
Well, no, even worse. I mean, Kash Patel embarrassed himself on Wednesday, in my opinion. He's such a hurry to put out, we have a suspect in custody, only to 2 hours later have to quote tweet and say, we had to release it. It's like, what are you're trying to show off? You're trying to impress the boss. Why don't you wait till somebody's in question? Even the president of the United States this morning said, I think, because you're on Fox and we're on the air and everything, but I think, and it's a pretty good deal of certainty that we have the guy, but even he qualified that, they believe in. I have tried to make it a point of saying they have arrested the suspect. I've tried to not say assassin.
Well, look at George Zinn, the other suspect, the 70-year-old guy. That guy's been a thorn in authorities' sides for 10, 15 years. I don't know how this guy's walking. But he shouldn't be walking around. This guy has threatened to blow up the Olympics, marathons. I mean, he has done all kinds of things, and they just call him a gadfly. Gadfly is a guy who writes letters to the editor of a newspaper. The last time I looked, not a guy phoning in bomb threats to marathon races in Salt Lake City. I mean, the fact that this guy was even allowed to be there is where I'm going with the security thing, Eric.
Well, he's weird. One of the lawyers who's on with me quite often on Fridays ran for district attorney in Salt Lake, and she knows the guy.
Everyone knows the guy. I sent you a bunch of articles.
Crazy local kook.
But kook minimizes what he is. To make him a kook allows him to go, hey, there's that kooky guy. At the Charlie Kirk event, everybody knows the kooky guy. Well, sometimes the kooky guy can end up being a distraction during an assassination. He could be a guy who's advanced his kookiness to another level. They seem to be downplaying this guy's kookiness.
Also, I want to address this chat, too, because this is about Kash, and I think it's wrong. People are very upset that Kash closed the conference by saying, Charlie, I'll see you in Valhalla. That is not meant as a bad thing. That's something that's used quite often with cops and soldiers and the like. Somebody who dies in battle, because they're all warriors, they will sometimes say, see you in Valhalla. It's not to say, oh, this is an anti-Christian sentiment or something else. It's kind of like a brotherhood and honor in law enforcement. So I think a lot of people are trying to take it too far because the Third Reich had a love for Norse mythology. I feel like they're pushing that way too far. And it just means, hey, brother, I'm with you. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out because a lot of people are spreading out things online and making it sound really awful. Well, I don't know. What else have you found on our guy? I mean, he had his family was, decent income. He had a nice car.
I sent you some photos of stuff I found. I mean, the obviously he didn't have a job because how do you afford this car? I mean, it's a great boat. I mean, where was the gun? It looked like, if you look at the video, it looks like he's walking around with a gun down the leg of his pants. Because he's walking with a limp before he gets to the school. I mean, then the limp disappears, and then people thought he had injured his leg by jumping off the roof. This guy looked like a gymnast the way he came off that roof.
Well, I've got the video of the roof.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was debating a little bit earlier on the show because I'm not sure that he had the rifle with him after jumping out the roof, and there's some questions. Because supposedly Kash reported that his friend called the FBI to say that he had arranged to drop off the weapon for somebody to pick it up or whatever. But if you read the arrest report, what they describe is he on the other side of the roof throws it off and then comes to this other side, Eric. So that was why it was in a wooded area. Here's the wooded area.
Well, but in the arrest report, it says that he threw it off the roof into a wooded area. And then comes down the roof. That's why you don't see him with the gun. But before, when you look at those home security camera videos, the ring cams, He's limping through the neighborhood. Obviously, there's no rifle with him, and he's limping, I assume, because it's down his pants leg. I mean, what do you make of it?
Even if it is, that's a hell of a pant. I mean, how tall is the dude? Because this is not like a modern kind of shorter. I mean, this is a full blown kind of old fashioned 30-06 bolt action rifle, and they're not tiny, not easy to shove down the pants, even up your shirt.
The limp goes away. The limp goes away once he comes down from the roof. There's no more limp, and he's limping through suburban neighborhoods with a backpack and a limp with no gun.
I got confused because the
by the way, he wrapped it. If
he lived after the roof, that would make a lot of sense.
Well, that's why people thought people originally thought the videos were reversed. That this was him leaving from an injury, but in fact, the limping videos are before he goes onto the roof.
Yeah, it's
he wrapped the gun in a blue or dark towel, by the way.
Right.
The gun itself, and then I believe threw it into a wooded area.
Right. Well, and there are questions whether there were other people involved with the Discord server and things like that. It could be possible.
It could be possible. I mean, you want to avoid the death penalty? Let us know who they are, or
they can share. There's probably room on.
Right, but I'm saying if you want to make a deal and give up the names, that would be a way to do it.
I guess one thing I will have to say is that Utah very famously does have the firing squad, which I think would be absolutely poetic after he's found guilty at trial. If he is guilty in trial, folks, people are very touchy on that, and I understand it. But if he's convicted, that would be poetic to have to wait for a bullet to take you out. Considering the crime.
I think it's player's choice in Utah. You get dealer's choice.
But you know what? There are some states.
I think they have only offer. You could take the rope too. I think I got to look it up. But it used to be
they have three. I think
chair, rope, lethal, and bullet.
I think it's lethal, bullet. Lethal. But you know what? Other states only offer one. So who's to say they can't pull them off the table? I don't know. I think Gary Gilmore.
Gary, what's his name?
Gary Gilmore.
Gary Gilmore, whose famous brother, actually wrote for Rolling Stone and covered the execution of his own brother, which I always found to be incredibly bizarre. But he said his famous last words were, "Let's do it,"
which became the Nike slogan, "Just do it."
Right, but I think years later they came up with, like Eric's describing, multiple choices for you to choose how to leave the earth.
Yeah, Gilmore asked for the firing squad. He also asked to be executed. I didn't realize how tight it was. I just looked it up. I mean, he committed the crimes in 76. He was executed January 17th, 77. He was like, I know.
No way. They didn't have a waiting list back then. They didn't have a waiting list.
Oh, not only he refused every plea. He fought it the whole way to go out. So it is he definitely wanted it. Did I see the Rolling Stone head? I might have seen the headline, T-Dog. I don't know. There's so many headlines. There's so many people who are responding in a really nasty way. Obviously, you mentioned Stephen King.
Oh yeah, what's with Stephen King, by the way?
Well, I mean, Stephen King is a complete asshat who has, for years, I mean, he's such a hardcore frothing leftist that he'll just spit anything out. And it's good that he actually was forced to apologize. And he did apologize and apologize and apologize.
Yeah, because his book publishing company probably said no more deal.
Yeah, definitely. But this is a good example. This is 4 years ago. This is Tyler 4 years ago.
Okay. Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
Okay. And what, he went 1 year though. What happened to did he flip after a year?
He dropped out, I think, after a semester.
Yeah, he only went and he had a scholarship.
Yeah, he did.
Why did he drop out after 1 year?
I'm not really sure. If he it could be that, he lived in St. George. No, not St. George. They made a point of correcting it multiple times. I think it's Mount Washington, which is like near St. George. So it's so small that the big city is the small city that's on the very south of Utah. Maybe he felt completely overwhelmed in the big city or something. I don't know. A lot of.
I think he left the. I think he left the church. So
it's possible.
They may have to look into his churchy stuff.
I'd want to know, who was he dating? Who was he hanging out with? What was he, who was his crowd, both online and off? Because you never know what was influencing him. And I really want to know who else is on the Discord server, because I've heard that there's like hit lists and things like that are, kind of being shared in some.
Well, his family religious proctor. I don't know what exact term the Mormons use. They had a family preacher proctor who was their religious connection, and he was a U.S. federal marshal who was a manhunt specialist. I mean, it's a little weird. His day job, the day job of the family religious proctor was a U.S. federal marshal.
Okay, I had heard that the marshal was best friends with the minister who turned him to the marshal, and they both went to the father. But okay, I guess they're both marshals. I didn't know that.
Well, I'm saying there's a law enforcement component to this story.
Yeah, and the father too. I mean, if he was a retired deputy for many years.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not. Okay, this isn't Thomas Crooks with the father hiding in the house.
This is
a family, and I have to give the dad credit. I mean, it's really hard to turn your son in knowing, this is probably the end. He did do the right thing.
No, he's going to the chair. There's no way around it. He's going to the chair.
I mean,
and rightfully so. I mean, they can't get at this chair. They start warming it up.
Yeah, no, I agree. And
I mean, you couldn't come up with a more egregious case for the death penalty than this case. This would be the textbook example of the death penalty. Premeditated. It just goes on and on and on. I mean,
yeah, and Utah is fighting to keep it a state crime for, I think, that reason right there. I mean, the feds moved in. Even that, though, has been a problem.
Where do the feds execute you? Do they take you to a federal penitentiary like in Kansas?
I don't know.
It would have to be a federal pen, right?
Indiana, Terre Haute, I think.
Each state has one. I think there's the one in Kansas. There's the one in Missouri.
But federal death row, I think Timothy McVeigh was executed.
Is there official federal death row?
I'm going to look it up. Okay, it's just giving me. Let me see if I can get location. Terre Haute.
Everyone goes there.
Yeah, apparently that.
All right. Well, that's.
And
who's going to be his lawyer? That's a tough case. Imagine that lawyer.
I have a feeling that probably get many lawyers lining up, because it is going to be a famous case.
Yeah.
So it's possible, and especially if there's an activist lawyer who's anti-death penalty, then I'm sure a name will come on board. Maybe not.
I just want to give you some updates from our friend Larry Schnapp, who was meeting with Congresswoman Luna when the actual news broke of the Charlie Kirk assassination. He said that was pretty awkward. But he also said that she'll be obtaining the transcripts of the RFK, Jackie Kennedy, William Manchester interviews that we've discussed on the show that have been locked in a vault. According to Luna, she is going to get access to these. And the William Harvey travel logs from 1963. So stay tuned to that, my friends. More will be revealed here.
Speaking of our illustrious Luna, did you see her posts about wanting to remove the Charlie Kirk video from Twitter and TikTok, and she successfully got it removed from TikTok. And you're like, you are in charge of the JFK assassination, or work in the assassination committee, and you're trying to get footage removed. Do we not see the contradiction here in what we're doing?
I don't take her seriously. I just want the material. If she, through congressional subpoenas or congressional power, can get these items, more power to her. I don't support her personally or politically. She's just another tool. And if they do get a hold of those Manchester transcripts, the members of the Democratic Party that are on the oversight committee are not going to just sit there and let them spew what's in there, which is, I presume, Jackie Kennedy's belief that LBJ was involved in the assassination of her husband.
Well, if they don't know about it, it'll be interesting.
Oh, well, they will know about it once they get it, and I'm sure.
No. But if they're just if they start reading it at the thing, that would be classic. Because I'm sure, I don't think that some of them are giant readers.
Oh no, I agree. But somebody's going to send an email and hit them to it. All it takes is one Democratic operative to say, "Do not release these transcripts."
That could be. By the way, folks, I noticed that we have over 3,500 people watching, and only 600 people have hit like. I mean,
it's very difficult. A lot of these people don't have arms and legs because of what happened to them in childhood. Thalidomide babies, Eric, you're eliminating a lot of mishaps. I just want to give a shout out to the late, while we were doing this, a famous TV writer named Ted Mann, who wrote 1 million episodes of NYPD Blue and Deadwood, and his credits go on and on and on. Passed away in the middle of this. Sometimes people pass away in the middle of famous events and don't get noticed, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you mean like 2 people who died the same day as JFK?
Well, Aldous Huxley was one, but Ted Mann was
C.S. Lewis. But yeah,
Ted Mann also wrote Homeland, which was really interesting. But to us, he was a editor of National Lampoon before I got there in the P.J. O'Rourke administration, and he had written a bunch of stuff. One of which was O.C. and Stiggs. If fans of Lampoon know the series O.C. and Stiggs, and that became. He also wrote the screenplay for the movie O.C. and Stiggs that was directed by the award-winning Robert Altman, and that's really my connection to Ted Mann. And before we were at Lampoon, when we were fledgling wannabe editors, we used to go over to his luxurious apartment on the Upper East Side because he'd already been a successful TV writer at that point. And he was always wonderful to us as kids. Kids who were in our 20s before I got a job at Lampoon. And he was an inspiration to people at Lampoon in the mid-70s era for people who follow Lampoon at home.
Did he work with John Hughes directly?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, PJ, John Hughes. Yeah.
Well, that's quite an alumni. I mean,
yeah, I don't think it's mentioned that much in his obits, but he later, and this is where I was going, he got involved in our Lampoon TV projects, which never really made it. One was called Delta House, which was a TV version on ABC of Animal House that he wrote at the point of a gun by Matty Simmons, and that was a failure. And he also wrote another one, which was pretty infamous within Lampoon's doors, which was Disco Beaver from Outer Space, which was a sci-fi spoof, neither which are really on the radar of American pop culture. So I just wanted to give a tip of the hat to Ted Mann today.
No, that's awesome. Great. Oh, by the way, somebody's pointing out Rumble, and yes, please hit whatever encouragement there is on Rumble. If it's like or another term, it always helps. Anybody and everybody who can get us some love.
Oh, by the way, the weekend, I was telling Eric right before the show, if you're looking for a weekend pick to watch, check out the 2-part Charlie Sheen documentary on Netflix. It just premiered on Wednesday and Thursday, or Wednesday, you could have watched 2 parts, but I'm saying it premiered on Wednesday. It is a flaming train wreck. Half of it I had forgotten. The other half, I just sat there with my mouth hanging open. Well worth the investment of Netflix for at least this particular documentary. A lot of people are in this. Sean Penn and others talking about, and obviously Charlie Sheen. Well worth it if you have any remembrance of the train wreck that was Charlie Sheen. It covers his entire career, though, going back to his childhood, and Martin Sheen and his brother.
I just want to know, was it named Tiger Blood?
Tiger Blood is in there. I mean, that's at the very end where unbelievably at the lowest depths of his addiction, when he is fired by Two and a Half Men, and Warner the CBS, I guess, Les Moonves owes him $2 million an episode. He had negotiated at the end, at the height of his addiction, a deal to make $2 million a week. I mean, think about that. And that was, he didn't even want to do the job. And finally, they begged him to do it for $2 million a week, $2 million an episode. And there's a lot of interesting tidbits in there that I had no idea about. Fascinating two-part documentary.
Did he ever reconcile with Chuck Lorre?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's sober now 7 years. I mean, he's clean now. But he had these false starts, and he had unlimited money. And Chuck Lorre became obviously a part of his nemesis, trying to save his life. But holy cow. Live Nation, at the end of his addiction, Live Nation books him on a tour of the country, and he goes around the country literally just getting up on stage and just saying some crazy crap. And because he needed the money, he had so many children and so many ex-wives, and Warner Brothers, or CBS in this case, had frozen his funds while they legally challenged it. So he had no money coming in. But holy crap, his drug dealer is in there. It's a fascinating documentary. I highly recommend.
His dealer is in there? Okay.
I don't want to give it away.
Okay, no.
No, dude. Everybody is in this except his dad. But there's so much footage of his dad that it doesn't really matter.
Wow. And by the way, people are pointing out that's true. He was on with Joe Rogan when Charlie Kirk was shot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
promoting this. He's promoting this. As a coincidence.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. And apparently, he was pretty cool about it, though, like reacting in real time. I guess he knew who Charlie Kirk was. And
he does a thing. I'll just tell you one little thing. He said it's some description of one night of partying, and he said, "I was so high, I had to take these little baby steps, just like Joe Biden, to walk across my living room." And he gets up and he walks like Joe Biden. Dude, I almost fell off the couch. He does this physical impersonation of Joe Biden walking. And he says, that's how demented I was. I couldn't even walk. I did little baby steps like Joe Biden.
Wow. Well, okay.
Well, a lot of Denise Richards in there for the ladies. Also, a lot of Denise Richards, and Brooke Mueller is in there. A lot of fun.
Denise Richards, there's another movie for the weekend, Wild Things, which was really a tremendous. I went to watch Wild Things thinking, okay, it's just going to be a nice trashy movie, blah, 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 to watch. It was like, no, it was a hellaciously good movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Great story, tight, good acting. I was like, wow, that was a really good movie. Leslie and I loved that. But one thing I want to point out, folks, that when we're trying to cover these stories and everything's coming in fast and furious, and Mark is leaving the screen and signing out and whatever the hell is going on, these are the times that we need coffee, because we never know what's going to hit us, and the coffee can keep us up and keep us alert when mishaps occur, helps us stay awake to do research, everything else, and we will continue researching the subjects of this going on, obviously, over the next weeks, etc. But you too can have coffee of your own. This is not just any coffee. It's not Folgers reworked over. It's not a white bag coffee. This is actually custom blend for us. And we actually have two flavors. Again, Coast and Blend. The second one was because of the tariff situation. Wound up being fantastic too. So now I'm back and forth. I have one bag, finish that bag, go to the next bag, and just go back and forth between them. The Supreme Breakfast Blend and the Magic Bullet Blend. The Breakfast Blend is a brighter coffee. It's strong, bright, kind of fresher. And then the Magic Bullet Blend is kind of a more robust but kind of mellow coffee. Like think of a drawing room or that type of thing. It's kind of got that feel. But if you haven't tried it yet, please give it a shot. I recommend, if you do like it, you probably want to buy it 4 at a time, because then you can get free shipping. And shipping is incredibly ridiculous. I pay like up to $15 to ship a coin nowadays. So, I mean, shipping is insane. But
I hope
you
these
consider checking it out.
beans. I hope the beans don't come from Brazil, where they sentenced Bolsonaro to 27 years in prison by a 3-2 Supreme Court vote without a trial. I don't know how Trump is going to get him out of there. I don't know why he stayed there. Again, these people really confuse me. I said the same thing about Russell Brand. I mean, I don't know if he's left England or not. I don't know why Bolsonaro stayed when he could have fled to Miami. Now he's facing 29 years in prison by this military junta and judge. This situation where the judges are ruling a nation like Brazil. It's insane. I mean, I don't know what Trump can do about it, but the idea that they took a 3-2 vote and sentenced him to 27 years in prison for a phony coup d'etat charge is probably a slightly bigger outrage than what's going on in the Middle East.
I don't know what you are saying, though, Mark. I mean, would you not feel safe with him judging your fate?
He looks, yeah, I mean, it's just so over the top, Eric. I mean, it's so crazy that you can't even believe it's happening. That, you know, obviously this is the Democrats versus Trump on a major scale, the same model, you know, that people have discussed online, you know, regarding USAID and other color revolutions and things of that nature. But holy crap, is this thing over the top?
Yeah. I mean, we have a Brazilian fan who will call in on a Saturday show I do quite a bit, and he talks about the it is completely nuts there.
I'm only doing it to amplify the situation so it doesn't get buried under the news of our own country. But man, oh man, I've never seen anything quite like this. This one takes the cake, Eric.
Well, and it's scary too, because Brazil, well, you know, Brazil is BRICS, right?
Yeah.
Brazil, China, wow, they go well together. You know, I mean, think about it for a second. Everybody in Brazil needs a VPN because they crack down and they censor like crazy. Everybody in China needs a VPN. Things aren't necessarily super great. I don't know. But while we're talking about, world figures that are influencing, I'm encouraged to see this. There's a little clip from Trump talking about Soros.
Yeah, this is great. This is great.
I had one the other night. I went into a restaurant and this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't serious. They get paid for it. They're professional from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into Soros because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that.
What do we do about our country with that? Because we have radicals on the right.
I had one the other night. I went into.
Yeah, I had what was that? They had gotten in there, I think, Code Pink into a restaurant and again jeopardizing his security for the 9 millionth fucking time. As people pointed out, how did they get into a restaurant that's supposed to be secured? I mean, what is again? These are inexplicable failures that seem never to be rectified, Eric.
I agree, and Trump's got to own it. I mean,
he's got to own it.
Who is in charge of the Secret Service now?
Some
the head of
who failed the last time
was in Butler.
Maybe the nicest guy in the world, but you had a clean house, bro. You got a clean house. Who gives a shit that you like the guy?
But then again, I can't get help but get discouraged when I'm like, okay, who were we quoting when we were looking at the Secret Service last year? Dan Bongino. How's that working out in the FBI?
I don't know, because I'm not in there. I don't really know, but they didn't get this guy. That's for sure. They didn't get the current Kirk assassin. I mean, his father turned him in, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, and we didn't do so good.
Does his father get the reward now, Eric?
I saw that as a question, and I'm like,
yeah.
If you were, well, again, how could you put yourself in the position? I would hope the father would refuse the award.
Why not accept it and do something good with it?
Well, actually, the minister could accept it because that's who recognized him, and that could go to the church, maybe. And
that's what I'm talking about.
That might be an appropriate answer, but okay, the father turned it down, I guess.
All right.
So, I would give it to the church, and then you call it a day. That would make more sense.
Mm-hmm. How about giving it to Charlie Kirk's widow?
That's fine too. By the way, speaking of the widow, that was a pretty nice gesture of JD Vance to take him on Air Force Two. And I don't know if you saw the footage of when Air Force Two was landing in Phoenix. That the traffic controller was saying, welcome to Phoenix, Charlie Kirk. You shouldn't have to be here. It was kind of a touching moment, but I do appreciate that, and Trump is.
There's a lot of touching moments. I agree, but the event never should have happened to lead to these touching moments. I'm more concerned about it not being replicated ever again, but it seems to be replicated over again.
Well, let's hope not. I mean, it's been
hope isn't going to cut it, bro.
No. When you said it seems directly, well, no, it's been 2 days. It hasn't happened again in these 2 days.
Okay.
But, I'm hoping that we continue and prevent it, obviously, but yeah, and we also have other issues because look at the reaction to it, and we have obviously operators who are flooding everything with bots.
Our team, the state team, and I'm sure the federal team as well, what we're seeing is our adversaries want violence. China, we have bots from Russia, China, all over the world that are trying to instill disinformation and encourage violence.
Oh, wait a minute. That's another BRICS country. So we got Brazil, Russia.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is India.
Yeah, you got to show it, bro. You got to put it on the screen. We don't care. You don't have any hair. You got a badge. Put it on the screen. You got to show it now. We don't buy it. Show us on the screen so Eric can look at it and say that is a bot quote. Does it kill you to put it on the screen, or are you full of shit?
Okay, so you're saying there aren't bots?
No. I want to see the bots. I want to see them. I don't want to take law enforcement's word for it by saying we can't show them to you. Show us the bots.
Okay.
Show it to us. Yeah, show it to us.
Well, a bot is a post, but
show us the post. Show us. That's what I want to see.
I'll have to get with Elon. Get back.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about that guy. He's saying we're now finding bots from the bot. Good. Let us see them. Let us see the bots.
All right. All right. Well, a lot of people are talking about the hand signals as well.
Oh yeah. What was that?
Most likely nothing. I talked to Lynn, who helped me out with the Butler scene and all that. The fact is that if there was hand signals being given behind Charlie Kirk, he said there's no effing way that somebody would stand in the range of the bullet and be doing hand signals up to a sniper. They would be off to the side somewhere. So it just flat out didn't.
Well, how do we know that's not AI?
Well, I don't know if it's not AI, but it doesn't make sense that there were hand signals behind Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. There might have been hand signals that meant something else.
They could have, and they could have also been
wrap it up like 20 minutes, or get the car, or
sure.
I don't know what those hand signals meant.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me go through. We actually have some super chats. Some people might have questions in the mix. So I want to get that. Sergeant Willie is a new member, which I appreciate very much. Kevin Patrick. Let's see. They put up a drone to record the beginning of the event. 10 seconds of use on that drone could have checked the roofs for anyone with the gun. Now, at the point that the drone was flying over, because they had footage of the guy, I believe, crossing the roof to take the shot, So he may not have been in position when they flew the drone. I don't know how long the event
Right,
has been
but
going.
what I'm saying, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a security expert, but flying a drone over any event should be mandatory, and you watch it in a little van, and you have a walkie, and you signal man on roof. I mean, what is this fucking rocket science? How fucking difficult is this? I mean, Kevin's right. I mean, it's a $5 drone, for Christ's sakes. I'm exaggerating, but it's a high tech, low cost way to at least search all the rooftops, and they're not even doing that. It's in fucking explicable, Eric.
Yeah, and they could technically, even with over the counter,
Yeah,
consumer drones, because its only purpose is to just spot or look
tell
around.
me who the security firm is and who the spokesperson is, and tell me why you couldn't do that. What your rationale is for not doing that, because this is an important historic event. Tell me why you couldn't get a fucking drone up there to look at those rooftops, all during the event itself, for no cost, with one man in a van looking at a screen with a walkie. Tell me why that couldn't be done.
I can give you one reason I have a feeling about, but it might not be true. A lot of schools, it may be a no-fly zone. Now, the fact that they flew one to begin with, maybe they have permission, but the school would have to allow it. So, and that's something that probably should be visited, whether they could or not. But like, as an example, I'm a drone pilot, have a license. I am not allowed to fly over a national park. It's completely illegal, and I can get locked up.
I'm sure this is doable. I agree with you, but I'm sure this is doable with a little bit of effort. That's all.
It could be. I'm just pointing out, what it could be, and something to
what
look
could be
at
and what would
future.
be. We need an answer from whoever fucked up the security on this guy.
Well, what about the university security? Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Somebody's got to say something.
But
somebody's got to say something. I don't really care about the security of a shopping mall, which is some minor school in the middle of fucking Utah. This guy hired a professional security firm. Tell us the name of the firm, who the spokesperson is, and why you couldn't, and Eric might be right, why you couldn't have a drone flying over the event for your security protection. I don't think that's a lot to fucking ask at this point in American history.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if you would call it a shopping mall. I think it's the largest school in Utah.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, it is a factor if it's the largest university.
Right. They have ex-FBI agents patrolling the halls. Who do you think? Who is the security firm for this university, Eric? Did you go to college? You remember your college a security team?
I don't remember it, but there are college police forces and things like that. And
okay, let's just move on because this isn't getting anywhere.
Nick Giusti. Gotta love liberals. They preach tolerance, yet are intolerant of any views other than their own. Hypocrisy is unreal.
That's true.
I agree. And they usually point to the other side as being intolerant at the same time.
Yeah.
Ken Martin, thank you very much. Dick Dickerson's on the board with 10 memberships. Thank you very much, Dick. Definitely count on you. We always appreciate that. Hugh Chessel. I have a 6-bedroom house. Want to rent a room?
Right. His name is Huge Asshole, just so you can pronounce it properly.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
No, that's his name. That's his moniker.
NJ Kathy. Mark, it's like buying a 6-bedroom in Bakersfield.
Oh, okay. I mean, just from I usually the people who buy a 6-bedroom house have 6 kids. I mean, unless it's the Addams family or something, but Bakersfield is probably correct.
Okay, well, I get a question for you on that one, Mark, because I always think about Adam Carolla. He always talks about Fresno. So which is worse, Bakersfield or Fresno?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I've been to both, and one is shittier than the next, but I really don't know. And if you talk to the people there, they go, "What are you doing here?" You're like, well, "What brought you here?" Like, "We're trying to get out of here." And I go, "No, I'm just passing through. I thought I'd go to the McDonald's there." And they go, "Can we leave with you?" No. I'm getting back in the car right now. Fresno and Bakersfield, 2 sisters from hell.
How about Barstow?
Barstow is another one.
Well, I live there. I could tell you how bad that is.
That's another one. Oh my God, there's some real hellholes.
Well, Barstow, because of Fort Irwin, I had to live there. And I made the observation that everyone in Barstow is paid by the government, at least while I was there, either the military or welfare.
Good point. Good point.
It was brutal. This is before they had a Walmart even. It was like, ugh. All right. A Burley Knoll. The arrows are to call a 500-pound bomb in a game called Helldivers 2.
Okay. I'll buy that.
Okay. Has anybody seen the pictures of the actual rounds and the carvings? Because that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be helpful. That's why they're not going to show it to you.
I
mean, the lack of transparency by these people, and I mean this on every single case, is breathtaking. It really is breathtaking. And the only thing the American people want to know, and on all of these cases, is motivation and the evidence. And it's the two things that we never get to fucking see. Whether it's a diary, a manifesto, the evidence, it's the only two things that everybody, 360 million Americans, are interested in. And it's the only things that law enforcement cannot possibly show you.
Well, yeah, hopefully we want to see it.
I'm really interested that he had that car because that's important. That's one of the major things that's of interest.
Bass player 201105 said he spoke at a DSA rally in Utah Valley University a few months back. He's a leftist. I heard he attended the rally. I didn't know he
spoke at
it.
That kid was the spokesperson for the Democrat Socialists of America. I find that hard to believe.
I heard he attended it.
Attended would be, I could see that, but that doesn't make you a killer. It may not even make you a leftist anymore, because so many people's politics is not black and white anymore. Somebody pointed out to me this morning. A lot of it is garbled. A lot of it is not left or right, black or white, socialist or capitalist. It is among the kids specifically. It's a mishmash of crazy crap. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's all over the fucking map with young kids. As you get older, you tend to pick a side and everything that comes with that side. But in this younger generation today, we're finding that it's a whole mishmash from column A, some from column B. It's not a black and white thing, and that could be confusing.
Well, that's part of the reason that he was a threat, though.
Yeah,
because Charlie Kirk was converting kids, a lot of kids. He actually was changing minds, and that showed up. I mean, 2024, he was crucial to Trump. He really was. He actually got young vote to shift a little, which typically when people say, hey, I'm going to get a good turnout of young vote, it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah,
he was James Carville, Eric. He was what James Carville was to Clinton.
But maybe even more impressive because he got people who don't show up to show up.
Well, I don't know the numbers. I'm just saying, generally speaking, that was his role, quote unquote, in the campaign.
Yeah. Brian D. In honor of Charlie, I bet there will be a retaliatory event sometime soon. I already saw a headline from New Yorker. Did Trump just declare war on the American left? I hope not. And we want to discourage that in every way.
Troops are going into, there's nothing to do with this, but the National Guard is now going into Memphis, which is what the left asked for. So Trump is obliging them. And they said, why don't you pick on Memphis? And Trump said, okay. Now he's got the help of the mayor of Memphis and the governor of Tennessee on his side as we speak, right on the show live on Friday. The National Guard is going into Memphis, Tennessee.
Good. Memphis is awful. I mean, it is a hellhole, and they've had a giant problem with the cops. And
no, I agree. But the point I'm trying to make is this is the left's worst nightmare because their protectorates, their what we call hellholes, are the base of their power. And the reason they're screaming bloody murder is that Trump is coming for them. And they're yelling like stuck pigs because if he can clean up these cities, it completely undermines their power in these blue cities.
Yeah. But I love the fact that they made the comment. He's going there and they asked. Thumbs up all around. Let me see. This is from Blake Rackley. Knight takes Bishop. Do you guys think anything can be done to punish Ilhan Omar for a disgusting interview with Mehdi Hassan? I'm all for freedom of speech, but she seems to normalize anti-American principles. Well, she's got a lot of problems beyond that, too. I mean, she's been kicking around for a while.
I think Al Green is done.
Yeah, he lost his seat, like Jasmine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Also in Texas.
Yeah.
These are some great. Wait a minute, Al Green too. Isn't he the one who's written up every impeachment paper like 5
Absolutely.
times or something?
He's the one who stood up at the State of the Union address with his
right.
cane and was physically removed by marshals. With Omar, I would say inciting a riot. I would charge her with inciting a riot and bring her to justice. You know, besides the immigration fraud that she perpetuated by marrying her own brother, and then I would force through the Department of Homeland Security begin deportation proceedings against her. But first, I would arrest her for inciting a riot, and then while that's pending, I would begin. Now, keep in mind they kicked out George Santos from the same institution, and he's now in prison. So apparently, there's no reciprocal response from Republicans to deal with people like this crazy woman.
Yeah, I don't know if Santos has gotten to Trump or not, or if Trump will commute it. I mean, Santos isn't really the biggest player out there, if I recall. In terms of comparing Santos to, was it Menendez with the diamonds in the freezer?
Well, they were gold bars.
Oh, I'm sorry, gold bars. Okay, it seems like the degrees are a little bit different between the two.
They're two separate cases, but the point of the matter is the Republicans made no attempt to defend George Santos, and the Democrats made every single attempt to help Menendez stay in power, and will fight to the death for Omar. But she is one of the leaders of the dog whistle assassination squad, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
So I'd say inciting a riot might be a good charge to get her out of there and keep her busy while you're deporting her.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Bass player 2011 must be talking about Stephen King here, I think. He apologized because what he said was defamatory and people were calling for him to be sued.
Yeah, I read that also. Yeah.
I mean, he was scrambling pretty hard. He actually wrote an apology and then started replying to the tweets. I apologized.
Well, Thomas Massey doesn't miss an opportunity to criticize Trump, saying his divisive speech was partially to blame for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. What motivates, in your humble opinion, this Thomas Massey guy?
I don't know. It sounds like a Democrat.
I know. At some point, are his supporters going to peel off? And when is enough with this cat? What is it that makes these people so loyal to this piece of shit? I mean, how many more times does he have to criticize Trump before you say, you know what, I think I've had it with this guy? What is the deal with this guy?
I don't know. Is he bleeding support in Kentucky? Because Rand Paul's the other one in Kentucky. Then they're both libertarians.
I don't understand Kentucky. I don't understand where they're coming from politically at all. But nevertheless, I don't hear Rand Paul criticize Trump as often as Thomas Massey waking up every day and coming up with some other thing to criticize Trump. I have a far more respect for Rand Paul and his father than I do for this guy.
Absolutely. I'm just saying, though, that in terms of Kentucky, Rand Paul's a libertarian, Massey's of the libertarian ilk. So,
but what does that mean?
Okay, libertarian.
That means you criticize Trump when there's assassination of one of his closest allies. I don't make the connection to libertarianism. Okay, I don't understand. I know what you're saying is right. I'm just saying I don't understand how that absolves you of criticizing. What's that?
I'm not saying it does absolve.
Oh, no. I'm not saying you do, but I'm saying there seems to be a common refrain every time this guy goes after Trump. He just, he's a libertarian. You know, what the hell? You know how they are. I don't know how they are. I don't get it. All I know is he's got an R next to his fucking name. He doesn't have an L next to his name.
This is true. I'm just trying to say that he's of a mindset the same way that there are different left mindsets.
I'm saying to you for the 900th time.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't understand this mindset. It doesn't say L when you're voting. It says R.
The big one is the big beautiful bill, which Rand Paul also went after him for. He's pissed Trump off, and Trump is trying to primary him, and he tried to primary him before. So there's a personal conflict in there, which is definitely a factor.
Again, the entire nation is completely in mourning over this loss, and Thomas Massie feels it's the most imperative thing to do is to come out and criticize Donald Trump as his divisive speech was one of the causes of this event. I mean, give me a fucking break, Massie. Enough is enough with this guy. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, where does this guy get off from his seat to criticize Trump? Like Trump isn't already completely bereaved, that he's going to be blamed for being divisive, like Stephen King is saying, or this guy who was fired by MSNBC, the former Bush guy, Matthew Dowd, who essentially said the same thing as Thomas Massie. Is it like, I mean, Dowd was a Bushie, if you remember, Eric.
Well, you know what? David Brock was also a right winger, and he had Media Matters. So there are examples, of really despicable people who were supposedly on the right one time. And Dowd, I agree. MSNBC, by the way, who did fire him. That's good. Their apology was bullshit, and I shared that. I couldn't believe nobody else, or it didn't seem like anybody noticed the fact that their apology. Well, I went looking it up. Turns out it wasn't on the at MSNBC main account. It was on the MSNBC PR account, which is like sticking it on page 29 to hide the apology.
Right. No, what I'm saying is they didn't fire one of their leftist own. They fired a Bushie from MSNBC. That's the irony that their mea culpa is to get rid of a Bush acolyte. They didn't throw one of their own under the bus.
Well, they've got another Bush acolyte. His name's Scarborough.
Well, also the woman who was the press secretary for Bush, who's the blonde, who's on there all the time screaming.
Oh, Nicole something.
Nicole, whatever her last name is. Yeah. They didn't fire her. She's probably next.
Wallace? Nicole Wallace?
Nicole Wallace, yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. Yeah. Pamela Clifton, thank you very much. Happy Friday to you as well. Let's go ahead. We got this article here, which I think is kind of interesting.
Well, I like that Trump went to talk to the Yankees, but let's do this first. Yeah, the numbers on this are quite astounding. The huge study showing that unvaccinated kids end up far healthier than vaccinated kids. The numbers are quite staggering. Well, hold on, back up for a second. It says this one right here. After 10 years, 57% of the vaccinated children had a chronic health condition such as asthma, compared to 17% of the unvaccinated children. The crime is that they came up with these numbers and then decided not to release it because it was so devastating politically.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
A few years ago, they did studies, and they were studying farm kids, and they found that farm kids were far healthier. They had fewer allergies and things like that because they were exposed to dander and all kinds of stuff. And this is kind of similar to me because the kids who are not vaccinated build up a natural immunity or tolerance for the world around them versus a vaccination, which may be preventing their bodies from developing to fight it.
Well, so the science is true. What you're saying is true. But what I'm trying to say is this is a huge study, 18,000 children over 16 years. This is a mega study that would make mega impact in this area of discussion in our culture. And they decided not to release it because they didn't like the outcome. That's why people don't trust the fucking science. Not because of RFK Jr. running HHS. It's shit like this that some whistleblower fed to the Epic Times. I was reading this morning, and I thought I'd bring it out because the size of the study is enormous. The results are enormous. And this is something that should have been out into the public beforehand.
Right. And the reason why they are after RFK, though, is he's citing these studies.
Right.
He talks about these studies. He helps them surface.
Right.
So they do kind of go together, in my opinion.
Yeah. You're right.
let me see. Here's your Trump at Yankee Stadium giving the speech to the team.
Yeah, he gave him the Gipper speech. He went in there and, I mean, he's a Yankee fan, so it makes sense, and an old Steinbrenner friend, but he came in and said the Yankees were going to win it all. We'll see about that. But to go in there for 9/11 on the eve of the Charlie Kirk disaster, trying to own the news cycle again, Donald Trump giving a pitch to the Yankees, his hometown team, to get them motivated. And then, the left saying he was booed at Yankee Stadium, and conservative media saying the cheers were overwhelming. I find it hard to believe that Yankee fans were booing Donald Trump up in the Bronx, but I'm sure there were a couple of boo birds up there.
Well, yeah, but also the day before that, I mean, literally rolling one into the other, Yankees. Oh, sorry. There was a tribute to Charlie Kirk there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, couple of classy days, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, just so people know, I mean, the problem with the woke sports culture is that the stadiums traditionally are in the center of these blue cities, but the fans come from the suburbs and the outer suburban rural areas for the most part. Yankee fans come from Westchester County and New Jersey. Met fans come from Long Island. So they're not in the center of where these blue cities are, and the blue cities control the stadiums. It's really a fucked up mess. And that's what happened during COVID regarding woke sports stuff, because the blue cities have control over these stadiums. But the fans usually come from outside those areas because they have to have the money to attend these events, Eric.
Which is, of course, ironic.
Ironic is a good word. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, oh, God. I'm looking through the post, and it's funny to see Ilhan Omar forgetting. Oh, that's right. We just covered her last Friday for all of her excess money.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that already.
Exactly.
We had on Max Good. I thought that people liked that episode a lot regarding the passing of Ruth Paine.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It is so much crazy. Everything that is going in. All right, you shared this with me. Hold on. Come on now. Sometimes it's a pain to try to copy stuff. Poland has a new president.
The Donald Trump of Poland is now.
So we've got Poland and Italy, because isn't Italy also?
Yeah.
I am now in Poland, in Warsaw inauguration, where Nawrocki just got inaugurated. And look at these masses. Look at all these flags. People are celebrating that they have won, they have their sovereignty, they have their chosen leader. This is a win, not just for Poland, but for the rest of Europe.
Yeah, they have to get out of this. They have to get out of this Soviet European Union, which is exactly the same structure as the former Soviet Union used to have. The central bank overriding republics' political independence. This entire EU is completely the same as the former USSR. I mean, the similarities are astounding. The fact that not many people have made that connection is bizarre to me. The censorship, the arrests for tweet. I mean, the similarities, you can write a PhD paper on it at this point, how much overlap there is between the Soviet USSR and the Soviet European Union, as I tend to call it now. I mean, even though the British technically have left the EU, they seem to be in the same political mindset as the rest of continental European Union.
Well, I was told by somebody the only reason the British left the EU and even did the Brexit routine was because there are certain standards that Britain had to meet, like their rails had to be up to X standard, et cetera, and their infrastructure is so worn down that they flat out didn't have the money or anything. Right. So they masked it as this Brexit thing, but they really, sentimentally, they are, like Starmer is very much in line with that.
I'm talking about the leadership. I don't think the people are, but these countries have been overrun by the third world, and they're gone unless they come up with a plan. You know, Hungary has broken away. Now Poland has broken away. Italy is semi-broken away. Marine Le Pen is now surging again unless they incarcerate her, like they did Bolsonaro in Brazil yesterday. Le Pen's numbers are dwarfing Macron's. Really, that's the only hope. They're not going to go quietly into the night, my friends.
True. Let me see, get some Rumble rants here. Incoherent said, turning point indeed. What that will mean remains to be seen. Yeah, obviously talking about Charlie's. RGR 3rd 75th said campus police had 6 people. 6. Dozens of people failed Charlie.
Wow.
And we Mr. Mike. Oh, yes. Very interesting story. Did you see that about the Amazon book? There was a Kindle book written about the assassination and aftermath of Charlie Kirk. It was published on September 9th. He was shot and killed on the 10th.
No, what is that? What is that?
Well, the crazy thing is, I bought the book. And what's weird is all of the facts in the book are incorrect. There's quotes in there. None of the quotes match up to reality. And it's really spooky because it's as if somebody on September 9th said, hey, AI, write me a book about this incident happening, because the facts went wrong. And there were elements in it that were say things like late that night, Charlie Kirk was in critical care, but then he was stabilized. It's like, well, no, it took place in the afternoon. JD Vance said this. He never said that. Turning Point made an announcement late at night. They never did that. It just goes on and on and on. I actually even ran it through Grok to get all the differences. So there is a creepy aspect of this and question, like, what if the shooter had published it, or somebody who knew something could happen, or whatever it is? What if they could do? So here's just some brief examples of it. Core event description, introduction in chapters 1 through 3. Accuracy, largely fictional, gets the timing and initial chaos right, but invents non-fatal outcome and specific details. Suspect and arrest. Accuracy, completely false, no arrest or custody. In the book, it said that a young man was arrested outside the perimeter leaning against the car. Kirk's condition and aftermath, 6 and 14, fundamentally wrong, invents a survival narrative.
What do you make of this? What do you think this was, Eric?
I don't know. That's what was making me crazy. Nate and I were studying it to maybe do a video, because when you upload it to Kindle, you can't just backdate it. It's something that's stamped. It's like our video. When you upload a video or do one, YouTube stamps it. There you go. That's when it's uploaded. So it's possible something could have been uploaded as a placeholder and then filled out, but then why would all the facts be wrong? By the facts being wrong, it sounds like somebody speculated the day before. But who would speculate on this the day before?
I don't know. Where does the origin of it? Where does it go back to?
It's a Kindle book. I forgot the author.
There's got to be some origin of the Kindle book. I mean, to have a Kindle book up there, I have a Kindle book up there. I had to go through all kinds of revelations about my background to get the book. I'm up there. I mean, my Amazon account and everything. So somebody, again, who is this? It's not complicated.
I agree. That's why I'm saying it's a very creepy thing.
Well, there's got to be some answer to whose book this is.
They pulled it down, dude. I happened to buy a copy, but they pulled it down. The page is pulled down. It's been wiped.
Okay. All right. So, millions of people saw it, though.
Oh, yeah. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm just sharing what I found about it, and we'll see what happened. Somebody's saying it wasn't speculated the day before. It was speculated at least 4 days before. Okay.
Wow, okay.
Same issue. I don't know. It's really weird.
Sounds like a psyop of some sort.
Yeah, and the author, Anastasia J. Casey.
Okay, what does that mean?
Oh, it's likely pseudonym. No verifiable backgrounds. Nobody's found anything about it. or her. Like I said, it's really weird. Now, if it just came out that day and it was spit out AI generated, whatever, that's fine. Or the 11th, that's fine. But coming out on the 9th and then the facts all being wrong, it's almost like, what if somebody knew that somebody was going to try something and they just speculated the outcome or had AI write out?
It's not like he hasn't had 1 million death threats, so it's not that much speculation. I could see somebody, doing something like that in the hopes that it happens and then puts the book into a viral state. And that may be why all the facts are wrong, is because somebody did that thinking, I could make a fortune if this does happen. He may have other ones. Maybe he's got one on other people.
Could be. I don't know.
Maybe
any other books from that author. So
no, but I'm saying it may be a different pseudonym and the same idea is all I'm saying. So keep your eyes open, people. There may be other books out there of other similar events.
Well, there's a song as well, Charlie Kirk, Dead at 31, that came out a month and a half ago.
Right. Okay. So that kind of fits in with the same idea.
Yeah. Well, that one's just weird. It's like white noise. I could put up in locals if people want their head to explode. But it is very, very, very weird stuff. All right. Thinking too much, saying, considering it took 33 hours to find this guy with all the surveillance we have today, and tying this to your passion subject, JFK, it makes the Oswald arrest in 70 minutes? That much preposterous, more preposterous in hindsight. I agree. And the whole rollout of the arrest shows to me the FBI dropping the ball big time as well, because during the press conference, I don't know if you saw any of them or listened to them, Mark.
A little bit.
On yesterday morning, they were saying, we have clear images of the person. We're very confident. We'll bring him in. We're not going to release anything because we're confident we have everything we need. And then all of a sudden in the afternoon, they started releasing images. And then they started to release more. The only time
they, and most people know this, the only time they release images is, and they hate to do this for ego reasons in law enforcement, is when they need the help of the public, which means they can't find the guy. And they hate to do it, but there was a guy an FBI guy who had been involved with the Boston Marathon bomber, and he had released the images to the public, and that's what broke the case. And they fought among themselves, ego and political, concerns about not releasing the photos because they want to take credit for capturing the guy. I get it, but there becomes a ticking clock where it's, too much. And they finally released his photos, like Eric is saying, and that's when the father saw the photo of his own kid.
Yeah, yep. And one other factor that can play
there's also that phony private jet storyline, Eric, that turned out to be untrue.
It was the transponder was in an area that couldn't receive a signal, and that's kind of it was bullshit. But there is another factor in the FBI and specifically Utah. Apparently, the director was fired.
I saw there
not that long ago. Well, if you have a vacuum in leadership, and supposedly Kash Patel was livid that he wasn't sent the photos from the office. If he fired the director and there's lower people in the office and they hate his guts, there could be an
we don't know,
intramural fighting going on, and supposedly they are going to be suing him, or the director or the staff is suing him. It's looking like from headlines. Here we go. Fired FBI agents sue Kash Patel over retribution claims. So that could have not helped the investigation too, if everybody is pissed off at everybody else in the office. Really bad time for that to go down.
There's also people trying to be heroes and catch the guy, and not cooperating with other cops.
Well, and there's a long tradition of that where people will get possessive of whether it's a local or if FBI Bigfoot's the locals. As a matter of fact, I know Al Gonzalez had a super chat in there, and he probably can confirm about FBI Bigfooting or not, or what have you. But holy cow, you guys are being really, really supportive today. Here's Al Gonzalez, because I invoked his name. Sources say investigators operating the assumption that he had help. There was pre-planning here, and it went far too smoothly for a 22-year-old.
Okay.
It's possible. There were some questions if there were distractions in the crowd. Like you mentioned the Zen. Some people are claiming, I don't know if that's true or not, that Zen was deliberately a distraction, which helped the shooter get away. Because
yeah, it could very well be. I mean, it happened in the JFK assassination with the phony epileptic seizure and the ambulance pulling up and taking the quote-unquote epileptic away, and him never having recorded a hospital visit. This may have been the work of George Zinn. I don't know if he's related to Howard Zinn. I did a mini.
It comes to mind, doesn't it?
I had to come to mind because I had to do a deep dive on it. Howard Zinn's, one of his sons was an actor. Not that this one was one of his sons, but he's 70 years old. He could have been a brother of Zinn, Howard Zinn in Massachusetts. I have yet to find the connection between the two of them. But it is an unusual name, and he is an unusual guy. Both of them, Howard Zinn and George Zinn. This guy, George Zinn, is quite a character. I started to read some of the old newspaper clips from the Salt Lake City papers, and he's got quite a record of disrupting events.
Yeah, Olympics and everything. He's a known character. Susan Awesomeness. Just because, $10. Thank you. We definitely appreciate that. Douche, mascot glasses, Lord B.
I
think he's got blue blocking type of things going on.
They're just regular blue blockers, bro.
Let me see. Bass player 2011 this is the worst ad copy I've ever heard. Here's $5 so you can hire someone to write something better. You know what?
Oh, that's
either I'll sell coffee or I'll get $5 from you. I don't care.
Eric likes it either way. Yeah,
that's right. I'll take the reward here. Rogue Thought. If you disagree with them, they will left you.
Apparently, this guy always goes to the Sundance Film Festival, George Zinn, and disrupts that. He was in the Davis County Jail after being arrested for failing to pay $1,700 in fines for getting caught on tracks, which, not paying his subway fare, I guess. Then disrupting some radio show that was in a shopping mall. And then criticizing going after the LDS church and that whole thing. They literally have a section in the paper called The Further Adventures of George Zinn, an ongoing series that goes back 12 years. I mean, literally a series in the Salt Lake City papers about this guy who they describe as a gadfly, but there's much more to it.
Wow. I did not realize he had his notes.
Oh, no. I did a dive on this guy already, and then I started trying to connect him to Howard Zinn, and I'm not done yet.
Well, I was going to say he sounds like a Salt Lake untold story, but he's actually a told story.
It's already a told story by these newspapers. I mean, it's a local story, but he was arrested for reasons, that were obvious at that point. But it might have allowed the guy enough time to get away. Al Gonzalez, I ask you, is this done, in a situation like this?
Yeah, I'm not saying he did, but he could have. Somebody else could have. Somebody is floating that somebody is running with a gun out, but I don't know. But
I
don't know how to speculate.
Zinn, if I wanted to distract authorities at the time of an event like this, a guy like George Zinn would be the perfect guy that I'd want there to attract attention, be arrested, say they got the guy. Everything that happened because George Zinn made it happen.
Yeah. I agree. K-Dog. RIP, Charlie. The inflation numbers for August weren't good. And what's up with the investigations? I hope this event isn't used as a distraction.
What's up with the investigations?
Oh, it's an Epstein question. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. But yeah, the Secretary of Commerce. I was watching him yesterday. He was on with Rob, not Finnerty, the other Rob. He had what's the guy's name? Who was No. The Secretary of Commerce.
I get confused. There's Besson, who's the Treasury.
Yeah.
Ludnick.
Ludnick was on talking about 9/11, and he said that his entire law firm had the top floor of the World Trade Center. 460 people were killed, his entire firm, and he was taking his kindergarten age son to school that morning. And when the event happened, he raced down Fifth Avenue directly into the front doors of the building, trying to save his own friends who were in the law firm, and all of them were killed. There was nothing he could do about it. I didn't know that he had that connection to 9/11, but he was telling the story yesterday as if it had happened yesterday. And I was like, whoa, I had never heard that story from Lutnick before.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there are people who make a conspiracy theory out of it and have gone after him and his
really
ethnicity because he survived. Okay.
Oh Jesus!
I'm just saying. I don't want to get into it.
Well, look at comic Dave Smith stepping up for Israel.
Well, yeah.
Look at comic Dave Smith denouncing the Israel killed Charlie Kirk forces. And people are now congratulating comic Dave Smith for being a righteous dude.
Yeah, he's a fine broken clock at the moment. Mr. Mike also did a Rumble rant talking about the book and Kirk publishing on September 11th, which I mentioned. It's a rant, and here on YouTube as well. Who is author Anastasia J. Casey? Left you a book ISBN links on VB Law because you boob sucks. There was a hardcover and the Kindle, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I did buy the Kindle. The hardcovers just spun out of that. I'm sure you had that option too, Mark, like print on demand for your book or whatever. Or you could say a hardcover out of your Kindle book.
I don't have that. Oh, maybe it does. I haven't looked in a long time. Maybe it's over there.
Okay, well, a lot of people do that. They'll do a Kindle and then a hardcover as an option. DK, Charlie's last words as he picked up the microphone and said, "Are we talking black on black violence?" And then shots hit him. I thought he said gang violence, but whatever. It was something along that line. Thank you. Doug Gardner is saying, guys, Antifa, this is a Rumble rant. Antifa does have a website, rosecityantifa.org, for instance.
Oh, yeah.
There is a recruiting tab. That's true, but it's not necessarily there's a sign-up sheet where you place your name on the roster. It's like, okay, we got the Antifa roster.
It's quite secretive.
I mean, yeah, they don't usually share that from what I understand. Let's see. Corin Troll. Are either of you familiar with George Webb Investigative Journalism YouTube? He called out a couple things ahead of the news, like where the shooter would end up being found. I think he's done work with Jason Goodman. I don't know him personally. I've heard his name mentioned a few times, but I'm not familiar with him directly. Are you familiar with George Webb?
No. But I'm not familiar with any of this, so don't use my...
Well, sometimes you are. I don't know. I never know. I mean, different people. Joe K. Speaking of Bakersfield, it's sad. The Buck Owens.
I just heard that. A friend of mine who grew up in Bakersfield told me that last week, that Crystal Palace was closed down. Not only Buck, I mean, Merle played there, and Dwight Yoakam. I mean, it's a great venue. Yeah, it finally closed down.
All right.
I mean, it's the only saving grace between the two places is that Haggard and Buck came from there.
Poor Bakersfield. Be nice. They're already down and out. Don't kick them anymore. JS. Yeah, I'm struggling with Charlie's passing like many. This is so hard to process. The girl in North Carolina passing is compounding too.
Well, she didn't pass. She was butchered. She was butchered by a savage fucking animal. She didn't pass.
Yeah.
and that's a different story.
That's a horror show. Another horror show. I mean, it's two of them, but everybody sat there staring at her.
Yeah.
I mean, the only saving grace with Charlie Kirk, and it's not much, is I do think his death was when it happened. I think he was gone. I think that he didn't know what hit. It was just gone. There have been some people, doctors who wrote about it saying that it did show signs of like brain death or whatever. So I can just pray that he did not suffer and hopefully did not know what happened. I really hope that. I talked about this earlier. Richie Covers is asking, and interesting, wonder if the Kirk family, being Christian, won't ask for the death penalty. Brett Baer asked the governor on Fox and said they will be consulted. I do think if his widow and family asked for the guy to, whoever's guilty to not be executed, then
is that
I'm
how,
sure that
is that how the system?
Is
that how the system works? That the family decides if a guy's executed, or the judicial
they
system?
can influence it. I don't.
What is the
they
legal
don't have
connection to that? I don't understand.
What do you mean?
I mean, what is the legal connection? Having the family decide if a guy, in any case, gets capital punishment.
It's not legal. There's no
Right,
commitment.
that's my point.
It's
That's
a
my point.
nicety. It is a gesture.
But this has to be separated from the family and everything else. The guy has got to get the full extent of the law. We don't need people weighing in who are not part of the legal system. I understand what you're saying. I understand the situation, but
well, the opposite also happens, Mark, where the family impact statement increases the sentence. So it goes both ways.
I don't like that either. I never supported that. That's a modern, also recent interference in our judicial system. I'm not supportive of that one.
Recent as in what, 200 years?
What? Look up victim impact statements. See when they started. Most of it started in the 90s.
All right. David Rogers. All roads lead to Obama, architect of murder and mayhem.
I don't know if all roads, but some roads do. I don't know if it's all the roads.
Telex. Watching a lot on the left saying rhetoric is equal. BS.
That's part
Those
of their BS.
with a memory recall. Griffith with Trump's bloody head. The play, they killed him.
Yeah.
So over the top. That put us on the path. Telex, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Good to see you, buddy.
He's correct. That's part of their playbook. As soon as something happens, they say it's rhetoric on both sides.
Well, what bothers me about that to the extreme is technically there is rhetoric on both sides, but the proportionality is so extreme. It's like there's one person on the right who says something to 400 people who are on the left, and they'll say, hey, both sides are saying something. And it's like, come on now. Lynn Bleckstein has been a member for over 2 years. AOC has a net worth of 30 million. Tax her. Well, her and Omar. That's two of the squad. What are the rest?
I don't know if tax her is the right word. I would say investigate her would be more appropriate than tax her. Again, these are $175,000, $200,000 a year jobs. And somehow these people have $30 million. I'm sorry. You have to look into this. You can't. It doesn't make any sense. These salaries, if it was anywhere else on the earth, it would be beyond investigation. I mean, something has got to happen here with these investigations as to where this money is coming from.
Yeah. Salty Vet Dad. The second guy arrested with a gun on his dash is super suspicious as well. He may have been another delay tactic,
right, Salty.
accessory after the fact. Here's the only problem I have. I believe Utah's an open carry state. It is a conservative state, and it's kind of like you were talking about in Dallas. A lot of people had guns at the time. Lee Harvey Oswald wanted a gun. A lot of people did. So, like the guy they saw running with a gun, if you're carrying and you hear a shot, is it possible you might pull your gun out and have it ready while you're running away?
It's an individual basis, case by case basis. I don't know about what motivated them on the dash guy. There may have been more to it than just that.
There could be, but I just want to acknowledge that there are possibilities for people having the gun. All right, Al Gonzalez is here for you. Mark is right about inept security. I maintain that Kirk was put into that exact location on purpose. This was not a random act. It was Dealey Plaza.
Yeah, Al and I have been talking about it off the show for a couple of nights, and it's a turkey shoot there. That setup is the equivalent of Dealey Plaza, and the fact that they didn't have security for the rooftops has got to be the central focus of this fucking investigation. Is it inept, Al? Is it intentional? Something's got to give, and it starts with the head of this private security firm on camera explaining what the fuck happened. Why they daddle. I mean, all of the news coverage so far have been memorials to Charlie Kirk, which have a place, you know, bringing on people, but it's been nonstop memorials instead of somebody, a journalist, saying, who the fuck is running this company? Let's get this guy on the phone. I mean, it's journalism 101. I don't get why they can't do their own fucking jobs I'm talking about conservative media. I'm not talking about CNN. Well, by the way, guess what happened to Alex Michelson from Fox 11? Signed a mega deal with CNN this week, 2-hour nightly show. Incredibly strange deal. Alex Michelson was on Fox Local in LA and had Dr. Drew on every single night during the pandemic, and left last month. And I predicted it would be CNN. And in fact, last night, Michelson put up a post that got a mega deal from CNN to be on at night, 2-hour time block every night of the week.
Good. Is it good or bad?
Yeah, no, I mean, Michelson's jumping onto a sinking ship. So I was thinking that he may have had bigger brains than this, but for him,
Barry Weiss on CBS. So,
but this is an on-air guy every night, 2 hours a night on CNN. He's going to be the face of CNN. Just remember the name Alex Michelson. He is going to replace what's his face, the white-haired gay guy.
The spook.
Yeah.
Anderson Cooper.
He will replace Anderson Cooper and be the face of CNN. That's why it's an important story.
What about Jake Tapper? Him as well?
No. Those guys are phasing out. They're all phasing out. Michelson's the future. But anyway, getting back to this, the physics of this Dealey Plaza lookalike, Gonzalez is absolutely right. This is a turkey shoot, because of the way these multiple levels of rooftops, if you look at it, some of them are literally just 2 stories high. Some are 4 stories high. They're at all different angles. Whoever put them in this position, somebody's got to look into that. And obviously, again, the security firm has got to be examined as to why they simply didn't have drone technology, as Eric was talking about, flying over the site. It's got to be answered. I'm sorry. I know this sounds incredibly painful to the security firm, but somebody's got to answer for this company. I mean, we had answers from the Secret Service that were like pulling teeth. Remember, Eric? After Butler
slope roofs are dangerous.
Yeah.
If we go down that route, we also have to find out, how did the shooter get recruited or radicalized?
Whatever.
Because you can't have one without the other unless you're just going to keep doing it somewhere every time.
As a journalist, in my mind, as a journalist, which I'm not any longer, but if I was an active journalist, investigative reporter for newspaper, first guy I'm calling is this guy to get a quote on the record. You don't want to comment? That's a comment. I have no comment. Fine. But you got to call the guy. You got to have the name of the firm, how long it is, how much they pay, the whole thing. That's an article. I've yet to see any information online or anywhere about this company.
No, that may be coming. I think this is going to be a story for a little bit. I hope it doesn't die out over a weekend. There's plenty of investigating to do.
Well, Trump is going to Bigfoot it because he's got to move on. So this story is going to go away because he's got to, and I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying he can't allow this to own the news airwaves for day after day after day. I mean, there's going to be a huge funeral, which is righteous, but he's got an agenda to follow, and he, by his controlling of the bullhorn, will make this thing become smaller.
Well, there is some, possibility too that the local people could be digging, and that sometimes happens. So don't rule that out.
Well, it's not a local security firm. I think it's the group that he's hired out of Arizona, probably, that has been working with him out of Phoenix. I'm just guessing.
Sure.
I'm just guessing, but that's where I would start, because that's where the headquarters is of his company, Turning Point USA. Phoenix, right, Eric?
Yes, I believe he's out of Phoenix area. I don't know if it's Phoenix, Tempe, Mesa. There's a bunch of cities there, but yeah, metropolitan area. Sophisticated hick. Hey guys, met y'all in Vegas. I work at a hospital in Seattle. Work emailed about January 6th, George Floyd, Trump's election, not being shot, and Roe v. Wade. Wednesday and Thursday, not one word about Charlie.
Well, that goes along with the liberal media that didn't have a word about any of this stuff. The leftist media did not have a word about the Ukrainian girl who was butchered in the train in back east. So if it wasn't for Trump, they probably would have liked that to go away. As we pointed out on this show 10 million times, when they don't want to cover a story, they'll do two things. They'll give out the factual information without any editorial slant. And I'm talking about network television.
Right. And
they'll just say a woman was killed, blah, 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 23 years old on a train. And now back to Trump. And they just to cover their bases. Or if it's a really demonstrative story, they'll avoid coverage completely. I think they did both with the killing of this Ukrainian girl.
Yeah, and in fairness, I don't even think Fox did. Social media really came into effect and pressured the hell out of them.
Yeah,
into doing it, and obviously Trump, which is good. All right, Kimmy Hunt is saying his firm was Cantor Fitzgerald.
I think that's
that
a law
might
firm.
be a national.
I think that's a law firm.
Could be, and they may have security too. I don't know enough to answer that.
Well, Cantor Fitzgerald's a law firm. I don't know what that has to do with anything. I'm sorry. I take that back. She was talking about what's his name with the World Trade Center, with the Secretary of Commerce.
Yes,
that was the name of the firm. Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Some of these I don't understand because the time gap.
Yeah, time lapse, it can get weird, but it just came in, so it's doubly confusing.
She's correct.
All right. Well, good. Well, we are going to head over to locals and keep the conversation going there, where hopefully we haven't been ban-hammered or demonetized as of this point, and we don't want to push things, but in locals we can actually talk and not have to worry about it. So everybody, there's a link in the description. It's free to become a member on locals. We have a show there. You can watch it ad-free, or you could pay, support us, participate in the chat yourself, troll away. We have friends who like to joke. If you pay, you get to pay to troll or whatever you want to do. But there's really good people in there. Hope to see you. We have other material we put in there as well, like a 5-part audio drama. And I'm trying to work for a super chat. See, I'm doing a pitch, and maybe I'll get a super chat out of my delivery of this advertising.
Okay, keep it going, Hunley. You're doing a great job.
There we go.
There you go, Hunley. You're happy now?
Troll. Please scrutinize Paramount Tactical Channel on YouTube about it. Charlie wearing armor, that it may have been part of his fatality. I disagree. I do not think he had a vest on. I've seen pictures. I pulled it up earlier. It was a T-shirt. You can see nipples. You can see a cross hanging there. I do not think he had that.
No, I didn't see that.
And Vince D. Great show, guys. Charlie was one of the really good ones. This hit people hard. Yeah, I'm really blown away by it. He's way too damn young, and it's just it truly is insane.
Well, you can make the argument that he might have been the JFK of the right.
Yeah, I mean he's. This is the.
I mean, he had presidential ambition written all over him,
and potential, massive
potential.
Yes, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, he helped J.D. Vance become vice president. He was that influential. Not many people can get there. At 31, that guy did more than many people can do in multiple lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing. We're heading over to locals, and we'll see you momentarily.